the BUIDL Fund, which is short-term treasuries, overnight repos, the most liquid non-cash assets that exist. And so like now, what do we have tokenized on Ethereum? A ton of stable coins, like one of the most liquid assets that exists, the dollar, and then like the second most liquid asset that exists, which is like short-term treasuries and overnight repos. And so like what I see is like this is the first of like opening up a very long door of like, you know, still pretty liquid assets, but then even like less liquid assets and even less liquid assets, more and more securities. And this is just logically the first one. But now we are like moving down the curve of liquidity beyond stablecoins now into short-term treasuries, maybe then like medium-term treasuries, maybe then like long-term treasuries. And then after that, like it's quite a lot, number of things.
Credit is the next one, right? So if you look at the tokenized credit, is the largest asset class after tokenized. So it's tokenized cash, as you said. That's the number one. Then you have tokenized, you know, treasury, money market funds, you know, those kind of instruments of different durations. I think some of the companies have like multiple variations of the same product. But then credit is the next one that has less liquidity but higher yield than a different risk profile. We have done a tokenization of a fund with Hamilton Lane, which is $1 trillion asset manager. It's not $9 trillion like BlackRock, but it's pretty big, I can tell you. And then Hamilton Lane has a product with us called Scope, which is a tokenized credit fund, which has less liquidity. So we are kind of enabling through the cash accounts in our platform a more frequent liquidity, but the fund itself is only monthly liquidity because obviously credit is more difficult to liquidate if you have underlying loans. But that's kind of like the next domino to fall. And if you look at the credit on chain, is great. There's a lot of companies doing credit, and with all the respect to anybody, I just don't want to sound offensive to anybody, but I think that there is a lot of like higher credit products out there from the largest asset managers, rather than crypto companies, you know, playing to be asset managers and selecting loans and stuff like that. I don't think that that's their job to do for crypto people. That's what the asset managers that have been doing this for decades and that they have trillions of dollars under management are good at. So we're bringing those on chain already with Hamilton Lane and hopefully with some other asset managers very soon.
That's really cool. Yeah, I agree with you on the credit category, by the way. That's actually something that TradFi does far better than crypto right now. I mean, like crypto does, you know, over collateralized loans fairly well, but when it comes to credit, when it comes to like doing a risk assessment,
over collateralized loans are not credit, right? Credit means I'll give you a loan against a certain asset or revenue stream or something like that. So the financial services process of analyzing the underlying asset to make sure you're lending at the right rate and with the right risk profile, it's a very complicated thing.
Yeah, they do a reasonable job about that. But let me ask you, when you're talking about credit, are you also including like mortgages? Would that be something inside of this?
No? I'm thinking about private credit.
Private credit.
Private credit has exploded because the banks, you know, when they went under last year, and they've stopped giving a lot of credit. So the private credit space has exploded. So people, you know, just basically create funds that you invest in it for an asset manager with experience on credit to be able to provide those loans that the banking system is not providing today.
By the way, this is another aside from my co-host, David. The reason I think it's going to be more USDC on this redeem function than something like DAI and Tether, this is my own speculation, and we can watch Carlos's body language, but it's because this is BlackRock we're talking about. Going to take a long time for them to get more comfortable with like kind of like a DAI type of primitive, or like a Tether. Like, you know, Tether was just you know, maligned in front of Congress, whereas, you know, USDC is homegrown America and like tied in with the biggest banks in the US. But we'll have to see how that redeem function works.
But I'm going to give you another example of what they could do with this product, which is, you know, as you know, Tether, one of the problems with Tether is that the lack of transparency on their holdings, right? That's been a speculation in the crypto industry for a very long time, that they don't, for some reason, they can't come up with an attestation of their underlying assets, etc. By the way, Circle doesn't have that problem because the Circle Reserve is managed by BlackRock.
Very comfy for that.
This is public information, by the way. I'm not disclosing anything. So you can think in a scenario where somebody like Tether, if they really wanted to, you know, convey trust to the industry by having transparency into their holdings, they will hold the BUIDL token.
They just buy BUIDL.
They buy BUIDL. Buy BUIDL is probably very similar to what they're buying anyway, because apparently Tether move away from, you know, doing commercial paper and things that are more risky in nature. Now the interest rates went up, so just buy BUIDL. People can see it on chain, and there's other friends like Martin from the Mountain Protocol that has announced that he's going to do that with his yield-bearing stablecoin. He's going to buy BUIDL, so people will be able to see the attestation on chain. So I think that's another great use case, right? Not just treasury management, but build derivative products. So.
Okay, so it does sound like the actual USDC contract specifically is enshrined in the BUIDL contract, but I want to ask you.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I just feel like there's some social enshrinement at least there. But like, what's really crazy about this is by BlackRock essentially opening a Treasury bank branch on Ethereum like mainnet, then it's essentially exporting all of BlackRock's like credibility, regulatory compliance, like all of that entire apparatus to anybody who can then buy BUIDL as a treasury for their fund. So if Tether wants to like quote unquote legitimize with the US traditional banking system, rather than like, get better auditors to look at it, all they have to do is replace the assets in Tether with BUIDL. And then like immediately they've got like BlackRock level assurances in their treasury. Again, this is just me speculating with my co-host, Carlos. So.
Also, look, I mean, you just said something that is very important that I don't think people understand that. So when you're investing on the BUIDL token, you're giving the money to BlackRock. We are just the tokenization platform. We are the transfer agent managing the assets, providing the smart contract infrastructure for, transfers, possibly redemption in the future, and broker dealer, etc. But the money is managed by BlackRock. So the counterparty risk you have here is with BlackRock. So there is a lot of other tokenized treasury projects and money market funds where it's either much smaller asset managers or, crypto people that they woke up and they decide to be asset managers and now they are managing a money market fund. I just don't understand why, when you have the product from the largest asset manager in the world, we would not want to take counterparty risk with anybody else, right? Especially if all the functionality you need is there, right? Like it's on chain, it's peer-to-peer transferable. In the future, better interaction with the stable coins for investment and redemption, etc. So
to continue leveling up your crypto game, then you need to get on the Bankless newsletter. It's the world's most popular crypto email and is completely free. Just click below to sign up.